Hello everyone, I'm EJ. Welcome to my channel, and today I'll be teaching you how to make 11k gems an hour and over 630 billion coins an hour. This is the ultimate guide to resource farming in Roblox Defend Your Castle. You always want to have most of your base at the start of the map so that all your defenses can reach and kill the enemies right away. Now, another thing that's pretty huge is using splash damage towers. Most of the towers in this game are splash, like the railgun has a bit of splash, mega cannon, flame spitter, triple mortar, and if you have just a whole wide row of walls, then the small amount of splash damage will be nearly useless, and you won't make as much money. The next tip to building bases is not to use a shocker. Because if you have splash towers and you want them to hit all the enemies, then the shocker will prevent them from grouping up quicker. So with the shocker here, they get stuck, so splash damage won't hit those, and they get stuck again, and they will be slowed down, versus with no shocker, the enemies will stack up much quicker and get closer to your defenses, allowing for splash damage to do more damage. The next thing is to properly order your defenses from least range to most range, so that most all defenses will be able to see the start of the map. Like, you'd never put a mega cannon right here behind the walls, because look at all this wasted range that, there's no use. So you start with your walls, and you put the shortest ranges, so that'd be like the flame spitters and whatnot, and then most of your other flame splash towers, and then you start slowly putting, more towers behind and whatnot. And you want to always make sure that most of your important towers can see the enemy spawns. So even though there's a bit of extra wasted range, I usually put like my cyber gunners right here in the back, so that they have more than enough range and they'll see every enemy spawn as soon as they spawn to kill them quicker. Another important part of farming is potions, because your farm, whether you're farming, gems or coins, it will work much faster with damage potions. So always, every hour, be checking the potion shop, buying those potions, and doing all of the challenges too. You can get a lot of potions from these. Also doing all the raids, mega raid. Let's run this real quick. Just having potions can nearly sometimes double the amount of stuff you get from your gem farm. So it's very important that during 2x weekends and stuff, you save a lot of potions so that you can farm a lot of stuff on weekends. Something else important is to measure and see how much you make with each base. When you make a gem base, you just time it and then figure out how many gems and coins an hour you make to compare it to old bases. Like, I made this new base here, it makes about 8k gems an hour without pots, and a while ago I made this base, it only gets 7k gems an hour without pots. So it's important to time your bases to see which one's better when you make new ones. This next tip is probably the most important thing for gem farming, and that's using the best possible waves in the new auto stop raid. So there's not one best set of waves for gems. It depends on how much DPS you have and what your highest wave is. So for me, the best for gems is going to 430, but if you maybe have a max wave of only 430 or 420 or something, then you want to use lower waves and lower wave checkpoints. So if you're in the early game, then probably use one checkpoint below your highest checkpoint so that the enemies have a lower amount of health and you can kill them quicker for gems and coins. Next up, if you are anywhere from wave 400 to maybe wave 440, then I recommend using the 400 checkpoint and putting auto stop at 408. These are very good waves for gems if you're in that range. The next range of waves is 400 checkpoint. Then you put the auto stop to 428. Now this requires quite a lot more DPS, but if you have enough DPS, it is quite a bit better than 408. So if you're in the area of like, maybe your max wave is 440 or 450 or 470 and you're not sure if it's better to use 408 or 428, then just make a good gem base and then test how many gems an hour you make using 408. Then compare it with the same base or adding more walls doing 428, and you can see which is better. Because sometimes you're like right in the middle. So if you have a good amount of DPS, you have some flame spitters, you know, some hidden Teslas, a few max minis, maybe a few mega cannons, some rail guns, maybe an octagon or something, some cyber gunners, then it's definitely the best to go 400 to 428 if you're a late to end game player. This is the best space for gems. Also, sometimes if you build a base and you don't have enough DPS, then the walls will just die, you know, and you won't be able to do the farm at all because your base just isn't strong enough. And if that happens, then you can just add in a shocker and the farm will work a bit worse, won't be as good, but that way your base can live and you'll still hit the effective waves. So those were the best waves for farming gems. If you're trying to get gems and, you know, grind the limited crates or whatever, that's the best waves for your spot and progression. Next is coins. If you're in like the early late game and your highest wave is somewhere around there, like, you know, 430 or something like that, then the best way to get coins is running all of your potions and then just going through from 400 until your base starts to fall a bit. And that's the best for coins if you're early late game. Now, if you have a bit more DPS, you know, your highest waves 480, 490 something, 470, then the best waves would be starting at the 450 checkpoint and putting the auto stop to 470. Now these are the best waves, but it is very hard. These waves are very hard. So sometimes if you're making like a fragile quick gem base, it will die. So if you don't have extreme DPS, then you can add in a shocker. And then when you're grinding coins, you can just pop some potions and make a lot of money doing maybe 450 to 470. So those are the best waves for coins if you are late game or end game. So now I will read some tests with these bases for grinding. Now I'll make a time lapse of building bases for each different tier of late game progression. Okay, now this was a rough base that I made in just like 2 minutes, so it's not great and the placements aren't exact. It's just supposed to give you a general idea of where you could put your stuff. So you start with the walls. Usually you only need like 1 or 2 walls to do the wave 408 grind without a shocker. You put some beams behind. Maybe you have like 1 or 2 max Teslas. Maybe you have a cyber thrower, a demon thrower, a couple mega cannons, maybe like a minigun. You'd put the minigun somewhere here, some beams, you know. And then you do your rail guns, nextly, rockets, and the rest of your artillery go behind. This isn't good. I haven't tested it. It could definitely be more optimized. It's just a rough blueprint example of where you can put some of your stuff. Okay, so let's say you have a bit more DPS now. You did the 408 grind for a while, and you're ready to move on to the next set of waves for 428. And I'll make a time lapse now of a base for 428 if that's kind of near your cap. Okay, so this is the in-between late endgame sort of base that you can use for 428 grind. Actually, I think I'll remove a few walls here. Okay, yeah, that's better. This is late game, in-game sort of base. It's definitely not perfect. I think I cut a few too many like towers, you know, the Inferno beam, Aqua beam, stuff like that. But you have most of your towers maxed out now. So your max waves maybe like 500 plus, and you're grinding the 428. Then you can use something like this. This works pretty well. You have your railguns here. The Rage Inducer hits all the important towers. I have all your artillery spam in the back. And yeah, not perfect, but rough example base. And now I will make a base that is truly endgame and very optimized for coin grinding at wave 470 and also doing gem grind at wave 428. So, this is the final base I made. It is a true endgame base for gem grinding, and you can easily do coin grinding just by adding a second wall here. And then when you're using pots for 470, the base won't die. So, put your wall here, your flames, you know, your stuff. At this stage in the game, you're probably gonna end up selling your Inferno beams, exterminators, leprechauns, stuff like that. And so you can put your mega cannons here on the sides, and they have a ton of reach instead of all that space being taken up by your beams. All your hidden Teslas in the middle, because they don't have that much range. Cyber Gunners, the Rage Inducer hits nearly everything. Hits all the rail guns, some of the artilleries, the miniguns, stuff like that. So this base will probably work very, very well for coin grind and gem grinds too. So yeah, that is my endgame grinding base. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this guide helped you make a better base or give you some useful information. So thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.